Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Therapy, part 7, 8, I don't really know. Yeah, the first episodes of this weren't planned. The next ones kind of became a plan. I was, what do I want to talk about today? But I did not expect to be talking Video Game Therapy talk today. But I want to talk about burnout. And that kind of how I've seen it, how I think I see it, and why it's on my mind. I think I should talk it through. So my first full week of it still hasn't been a full week because it's Labor Day, national holiday in the US on Monday. Last week my classes started. I had class on Wednesday and Thursday. I don't have classes Friday. And then this week I had them Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Next week I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Now I've spoken about this before, but I'm taking an overloaded semester, so an extra course. It's not that bad. It's just to set the context for I was kind of really over preparing for this semester. I have all these systems in place. I'm thinking, okay, I can schedule in these times for deep work. I make school priority 1. And while I've been spending much less time on YouTube and Netflix, and that's, you know, a topic for another time, maybe even a video in and of itself, but I'm still feeling burnout pretty heavily already. It's been 3 days. It's kind of weird. I've had 2 big realizations. Actually, one big realization that came about this morning, and that was kind of like in blocking my YouTube recommended and you know, quote unquote forcing myself to abide by these rules of excuse me, don't look at your Twitter feed, don't look at your Facebook feed, don't look at YouTube recommended. I've first of all noticed I don't miss it at all. That's the first big thing. I absolutely don't. If I ever go on YouTube, I'll look up Game Grumps or Moist Critical specifically, because I enjoy that content, and when I have the time I look it up, and I have an application that blocks them automatically. But I noticed that I apologize, there's like a lawnmower sound in the background. I'll try to mute it out, but we'll see. Oh, this is a cool color. How do I get them? Yeah. So the first thing I noticed was that I just didn't miss it at all, and all in all, the second thing is just that I get so much time back in my days when I don't waste it watching or reading what the algorithm gives me, right? And, you know, to digress for a moment, as a creator, this is kind of a weird disconnect because I make YouTube videos on this channel and my lifestyle channel and or vlog or whatever. And it's weird because I, you know, to an extent I have to rely on the algorithm, right? But I can also just take full responsibility of my videos. I can say, oh, my videos aren't getting recommended to people because of the algorithm, or I can just say my content's not good enough. And honestly, my content's not great. It's not original. So I'm not surprised by any of it. But that being said, with all this time I've been getting back, I've been able to, you know, allocate more time to schoolwork and stuff. So during my classes, I'm spending a lot of mental energy and attention to focus on my classes. They're online. All of them are online. Love it. And taking notes during all my classes. And at the end of the day, I type up all my notes. If not, you know, in the 15 minutes after each class. And I think these are habits that are really good. And I absolutely want to keep doing them. I want to keep taking notes, and I want to make sure I don't stockpile notes that all type up at once, because it's tedious to do all at once, especially. Whoa, oh, okay. But man, I was typing up my notes last night, and I was talking to a friend over a Zoom call, and I just was getting exhausted. It hit me, right? It's like Thursday, end of the week. Whew, I'm done. Whew. It just hit me all at once, and yeah, I was thinking a lot about that this morning because it's Friday and I wanted to go edit the lifestyle video. It's a rant about how we can get our reading habit back on track, and I was like, shoot, do I feel no love for doing this anymore? Like, I don't want this to become what feels like I force myself to do something. My first VGT was all about work and play, and hobby as a third category. But I was feeling really incentivized to edit it again after I read an article by Mark Manson. He's a good author. I'd recommend him. But anyway, he wrote The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Frick. It was a pretty popular book. Anyway, I guess what I'm feeling is burnout. So I'm trying to save every Saturday, every week, to be totally nothing on the schedule. I'm a very scheduled person now, which sucks. I think it's good because the structure is how I can stay organized, but like, I find myself like, all right, man, like, when do you want to record XCOM 2? Like, I gotta schedule it. When do you want? 7 p.m. on Friday, and it's like the previous Friday. I gotta become more lax with that. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I just want to talk about burnout, see where my mind went with it. Because one of the things with, the feeling of, I guess this morning, one of the thoughts I had, right, was, dude, I'm exhausted. I wasn't physically tired. I got like a good 7.5 hours of sleep. Probably even 8.5 actually last night. I usually average around 7.5, which seems sufficient for me, but waking up at the same time every day, 6:45, is perfect, except for 7:45 on weekends. I gotta get better going to bed at a specific time, but waking up every day makes me feel less tired because my body can reliably wake up at a specific time. So I don't feel physically tired. It's just like, I think of the day ahead. I had 23 tasks on my to-do list this morning. Now I have 19. I have a lot of like dailies on there. And I don't know, it was just this feeling of dread almost. And I thought, okay, if I were to take, whatever, what am I going to do? Right. I got my psych assignment that's due. So today is Friday. I was like, all right, I got my psychology assignment done. That's due Monday. All right. My semantics assignment that's due next Thursday is done. OS, I got the readings done. I have readings scheduled in for Context and Cultures and Context Australia. Like, I'm up to speed. And for computer graphics, I have time today that I'm gonna work on the graphics homework, which is just kind of mess around with some code and make things happen, which seems fun. I'm really excited. That class seems like the homeworks are going to be very interpretive to the students, so I'm excited. At least for now, until we get to the math. But I pretty much, what I'm trying to say is, okay, suppose I have Australia readings to do today. I don't personally think you have to do all the readings in a class to succeed, but I'm doing them anyway. I'm making sure I can do what is absolutely required of me by the professor, not necessarily required by me. Anyway, that's another philosophy I never really fleshed out. But yeah, this one has a lot of cool little crevices. So essentially, it's like, okay, if I'm not going to do that today, what am I going to do? And that's kind of when I thought, well, YouTube's not really fulfilling for me. Watching it, that is, right? Making videos is super fun. I love getting comments that say like, yo, dude, on my Duolingo versus Rosetta Stone video, I get a lot of comments from people. It's awesome. And the occasional one on Cowdino Arcade, the guest there on the Chrono Trigger videos makes my day. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to defend myself there. I get pretty defensive. But yeah, so I was like, okay, I could go on YouTube, right? I made it a rule that no recommended algorithm. I don't want to be at the mercy of the algorithm, right? I can control what I watch. I want to be in control. If I want to watch a Tim the Tatman video, then I'll go look it up. I'm not gonna have the algorithm spit me a really fancy looking thumbnail and target me in my moment of weakness. So long story short, watching YouTube is just not fulfilling. It's not something I really want to do right now. What I did end up doing was watching a Tidying Up by Marie Kondo episode on Netflix for some reason. I consider myself a minimalist, so I just was like, what's a TV show I could watch that might, bring me value? I have a rule for Netflix as well that it has to watch something that's on my list. I can't go and browse for stuff. Anyway, that's aside the point. That would be a cool video, actually. But anyway, Anyway. God, this is such a long roundabout point, but hey, that's what video game therapy is all about, right? So in terms of, I didn't want to sit down. Man, my audio seems to be peaking a little bit. I did not think I was speaking that loudly. I do apologize. Hopefully the compression won't be horrible. So if I'm not going to sit down and, watch Game Grumps, I just wasn't feeling like it, right? They'll probably release another Super Bunny Man video today. I found a frolf one. I love those videos. They're so fun. Fun to chill with. I love to draw with Game Grumps in the background, but wasn't feeling it. So my point is, YouTube, Netflix, Twitter, Facebook, that's not fulfilling at all. When we procrastinate on a very basic level, you have an essay due and you go and watch YouTube videos instead, and you just keep saying, oh, just one more. It's because it brings you joy in the moment. It brings you pleasure in the moment, to be more specific there. And I didn't want to do any of these things, even though I have nothing urgent to do. So, it's like Friday. Okay, if I don't do homework, what am I going to do? I'm not physically tired. I could lay down and think for a little while, which is technically what I'm doing right now, except I'm speaking and playing a game. I could draw for a while. It feels like it takes too much effort. And I could edit my video, and that feels like a task right now. So what do? I ended up reading an ebook, a 21-page ebook that counted on Goodreads, and some Mark Manson articles. And I have a call with some people in approximately 38 minutes. I don't know if I said approximately, then gave the exact minute. Good job. But yeah, it's just this weird thing. It's such a vague. What I wanted to say is that so many people view, oh, I'm going to take a break now, as going on YouTube or watching Netflix or scrolling through Twitter or Instagram. And yeah, those are breaks from, a break is just not doing something. So a break from homework could be doing other homework, right? You could take a break from reading you could take a break from doing homework by doing homework in another class. Now, so I'm kind of glad that my break turned out to be an ebook. That's a step forward for me. But I don't think that looking at social media can be, what's the word? Refreshing. There's a Adorno, leisure time, if you're into philosophy, essentially comparative literature. It's kind of a class I found it in. Adorno on free time, very interesting paper. I should read it again, honestly. Reading is often seen as such a task, but it can be a break. It's, I'm editing a whole video about it, but YouTube, right? So so back to to concisely say what I wanted to say in the past, 6 minutes. I sit down and I wake up and I say, I have nothing urgent I need to do. And I'm feeling very burned out. I'm feeling, not physically tired, but mentally exhausted. And just the willpower to do something right now is important. I'm feeling this. I'm not this. Use I feel instead of I am. And the idea of sitting down, this is what I wanted to say in the past, 8 minutes. The idea of sitting down and watching a YouTube video just seemed more draining than it would be restorative. That's the word I'm looking for, right? So talking all this out, it feels sort of restorative. It feels nice to just talk. Hey, if you're listening, I'd love it if you dropped a comment or send me an email on pm.me just saying hi. These are for me, but if this entertains, well, not entertains, but if someone enjoys these and listens to them, it's fantastic. My main intention with these is just to get my own thoughts out. My secondary intention, which is just as important as the first, arguably, is to get my words out there for other people. Although when people do it in another format, like articles, for example, Mark Manson, they do it in a concise way and an informative way and an enjoyable way. But yeah, I just, watching YouTube videos, it just didn't seem restorative, and I just didn't know what to do with my time, and I was bored, cold turkey blocked YouTube and Twitter and Facebook anyway, because I did go on. I was like, all right, I'll just watch one, but then I couldn't, which is good. One thing that I've learned, and this was something I learned a while ago, but I didn't really understand until recently, and I actually haven't revisited the thought, but I just say I understand it recently. To spark creativity, you need to spark. To spark creativity, you need to become bored, or incite boredom. There it is. To spark creativity, you need to incite boredom. So if I'm sitting down, right, I'm saying, okay, I'm not going to do homework. You know, it's not urgent. My cortisol levels aren't high enough to get the panic monkey going, which I don't want at all this semester. I want to do work to do it, not to procrastinate. To do it, not to hand it in, is what I mean to say. So all this happens. I'm sitting down and I'm bored. What do I choose to do? And in that moment, you can go on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, and you can sit there and ingest media. And you know, I have nothing against those things, right? Well, I have nothing against people who do those things. If you choose to go on Instagram and you finish browsing, you know, if you somehow stop for less than an hour, I respect it. The fact that you can moderate yourself on that, wonderful. Check yourself though, see if you actually can. But one of these days I'm gonna rant about social media on a video game therapy. But anyway, I couldn't moderate YouTube. I got out of control. Recommendeds were really spot on. Even if I switched accounts, whatever, the recommendeds they knew what they were doing. And I had to put in steps to turn off the recommendations. And so I had more intention, and you know, that's what minimalism is all about. It's all about living with intention. It's like, you know, I have two keyboards, but both of them have an intention. One of them is for main use, and another one is for serious typing. It's, you know, people think minimalism, that's another rant for another time, but if you live every time, if you have everything and there's an intention behind having those things, great. It's not about having as little as possible. Well, it is, but not little as possible for your, never mind. Yeah, anyway, I've been feeling real burned out. It's been, you know, 2 weeks, but only like a week and a half worth of classes. I think maybe later on I'll talk about those classes specifically, just because I don't know, two of them seem like I will be fine, but it's such a dangerous mindset to enter in. One of them seems like it'll be pretty difficult, which is good, should be. One of them seems like it'll be a lot of information, but not difficult. It's only based on essays. And one of them just seems super interesting and super difficult. So I think in the difficulty, I'll try to find time to thrive. Anyway, yeah. So, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm burned out. I didn't actually think about this until now. I'm connecting all the dots. That's what video game therapy is all about. I'm bored, and I was reading an article and thought to myself, I want to talk. I don't get the opportunity for that much these days. And video game therapy, here I am. It's a crazy thought to think maybe YouTube is what I really want to do, but like, I don't know, making content's fun, but it's all about learning to get to the content, right? At least that's what the lifestyle videos kind of taught me. Cowdino is just, I have fun with games. Maybe people will enjoy talking to me. People haven't found them yet, but it's just fun to do. But in my boredom, I chose to rant about my burnout, which is kind of interesting to me. You know, I didn't choose to draw. This is gonna sound weird, and I don't mean for this to sound pompous. I started reading as procrastination, which is kind of strange to say, but I found myself saying, I'm not gonna do this right now. Well, okay, I can't do YouTube or anything. I'm gonna go read. And I guess for people that is a problem. And books can give much more value, but again, everything in moderation. You can read too much. you can, video games for a lot of people is a really big problem. There was a discussion I didn't partake in. I didn't have the energy because I didn't want to where my head was at, it was going to become an argument because of me, and I wanted it to be more of a discussion, so I didn't partake. But they were talking about how video games, quitting video games is the best thing they've ever done. And it's kind of like video games for me is video games for them is YouTube for me, so to speak, and Netflix for me, right? It's just so easy to get lost in the content that's on there. I never got into, World of Warcraft, but those games are so purely addictive. For Cowdino, and this is no exaggeration, anytime I play a game, you see it on Cowdino Arcade. Pretty much anytime, except for Valorant. I made one Valorant video, and I played a lot of Valorant toward the end of the summer. Actually, in the middle of the summer when it first came out. But as of late, I've uninstalled it. I just haven't touched it for a while. I don't know. I don't get joy out of the game. My own suspicions for why that is. It's not the game itself, but I won't go into that. I don't know. It's just like, actually, I have games on my Switch, so that's not entirely true. But if I'm ever playing a game on the computer, it's on Cowdino. My Switch I use for boxing, soon art, and video games, and music creation. It's pretty fantastic. So I'm not, video games for me isn't a problem, but well, not yet. Not yet. It probably could have been. I think, I don't know, that's another introspection for another time, but yeah, so I'm feeling burned out. Like, video games doesn't come to mind because it doesn't, I don't know if it would be relaxing, but I mean, here I am playing a game and just talking, right? Then again, I'm not focusing on the game at all. So far this game has been the best to rant during for video game therapy. Yeah, honestly, that's about it for today. Yeah, I'm feeling a little burned out. I gotta find the things that restore me. I think reading, because it's intellectually stimulating. Right now I'm reading Sapiens, and I'm like 30 pages in, and it's already just like, wow, I'm insignificant. I think another benefit that's come from not going with the YouTube algorithm is becoming more patient with content, like books, getting to where they are and stuff. I'm no fast reader by any means. And finding joy for reading again. And if you're curious about that, I have a lifestyle video that should be up at the same day as this, same time even. If you look up Mark Bacon NYU, you'll find it. But yeah, burnout. Just to end on this, for so long I was like, oh man, burnout, watch out for burnout, it's gonna happen. And then for a little while I was like, burnout doesn't really exist. It's all about mental willpower and pushing past it. And now I'm 50-50. I think, this week it's like, man, I'm burned out. But it's not a bad thing that I'm burned out. I technically was burned out yesterday. But I pushed through it, and I said, hey, it's going to be so worth it to do this thing right now. Otherwise, if I, take tomorrow off and Saturday off, I'm going to be worrying about it all day, or at least it'll be in my mind all day. And so I think knowing when you've burned out, knowing, take those breaks. I think, maybe I'm not even burned out. Maybe I'm like almost there, and I'm recognizing that. So, because there's a difference between, all right, I've written a paragraph. That's fine. Let's go. I'm burned out. Or feeling that initial resistance to starting an essay or something like that. And I have written 1,500 words today and read a book and, made a video and talked to people. I'm done for the day. And then there's, wow, I've been doing that for 2 weeks straight. I'm burned out. So I don't think I'm at burnout yet. I think I've just exhausted my current resources. Gotta let them restore. Gotta let them slowly build back up. Gotta let the emotional gas tank refill itself. And yeah, I think that's kind of it. Because it is largely about self-discipline and being able to push yourself, but you don't want to push yourself too far. You want to push your limits, and then step back, and then your limits will grow, and then you push them more. Over the past, 14, 15 months, one of the biggest things I've learned is start small. Just do 1% better every day. That's been my motto for a while, my mantra. Just, if you go outside and you run a quarter mile and it takes you 8 minutes, then tomorrow, try to run it in 7 minutes and 59 seconds, or run half a mile in 16 minutes, or 20 minutes, or run more, or run it for shorter. Be faster. Just 1 second. There's a bike trail near my house, and I run it a good amount now. I think for running, it took me a while to get the habit back on track, but now it's one of those things I just I get up and do. Cold turkey's blocked YouTube. I can't. The algorithm's gone. I don't know what I want to look up on YouTube. I go for a run. Fitness is important. Physical activity is important. Fitness is another thing entirely. Getting and being physical is key. Being physically fit, I wouldn't say is a necessity. Just as long as you move your body, do what it's designed to do, right? Okay, yeah, this last thing, I ran I think half a mile in 20 minutes. And I laugh now just because now I'm running about 3.5 to 4 miles in a 9-minute mile, which is still, I used to run 3 miles at a 7:30 pace. And hey, I'm slowly getting there. And granted, this half mile run was back in June. So I've come a long way. And it's just incremental every time. I say, oh, yesterday I got to this sign. Well, I'm going to go to that bridge over there. It's, maybe another 1/8 of a mile, but it's 1% more than yesterday, at least. So yeah, I'm just going to end. I'm going on for too long. Thanks for listening. If you got something, let me know. If you're curious about my thoughts on anything, my Proton Mail email is in the description down below, or you can drop a comment. But yeah, have a good one. Thanks for listening and or watching. Don't forget to stay awesome. Peace out.